All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. We are looking at a genuinely fascinating guide that promises to take you from an absolute beginner to actually building your very own AI assistant using Python. If you have ever stared at lines of code and felt like you were trying to read an alien language, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to see how code goes from this intimidating wall of text to a crazy powerful tool you can actually use.
So there's this hilarious, but honestly way too real story from our source material about a guy named Balu. He figured, hey, I'll just skim through some Python theory on the internet for 2 days and bam, instantly land a 90 LPA. That's 90 lakhs per annum tech job. Yeah, no. Instead, all he got was a screen full of error messages and a massive headache. It's a trap so many beginners fall into, getting totally bogged down in endless theoretical concepts and roadmaps without ever actually building a real thing.
But here is the actual magic of Python. It literally reads like plain English. You absolutely do not need a computer science degree to decode it. In fact, Stack Overflow consistently ranks it as the most loved and easiest language for beginners for this exact reason. It has this pseudocode nature. That basically means its syntax is so clean, so straightforward, that you can often guess exactly what a program does just by reading the words out loud. It is hands down the best first language to learn. Here is our quick roadmap for today. 1. The language of computers. 2. Python's building blocks. 3. Controlling the flow. 4. Object-oriented programming. 5. Building real projects. And 6. Your programming journey ahead. Kicking things off with Section 1, the language of computers. Look at it this way. If you're visiting Paris, you speak French, right? Well, if you want your computer's hardware to do something, you've got to speak Python. You can't just politely lean in and say, "Excuse me, Mr. CPU, could you please sum up these two numbers for me?" You need a bridge. Python is that high-level bridge. You write instructions in Python, which is super easy for you to read, and then an interpreter steps in, grabs that, and translates it all the way down into the low-level machine code that the hardware actually understands.
Moving right along to Section 2, Python's building blocks.
Okay, once you're talking the talk, you need to know how to organize all your data. We have 4 main structures to compare here. Let's break them down quickly. A list is basically a shopping list. You can add stuff, remove stuff, and the order matters. A tuple, though, is more like a printed receipt. The order is there, but you absolutely cannot change it once it's created. A set is just a collection of unique items. Order doesn't matter at all. And a dictionary pairs a specific key to a value, literally just like looking up a word to find its definition. Grasping when to use which one of these is kind of the secret sauce for writing efficient code. Which brings us to Section 3, controlling the flow. So how do we actually make the computer do the boring, repetitive stuff for us? Loops. A for loop is perfect when you know the exact range. Like if you want to print a multiplication table from 1 to 10, a for loop handles that perfectly. But what if you're building a guessing game? You have no idea if the player will guess the right number on the first try or, the 50th. That is exactly where you use a while loop. It just says, while the guess is wrong, keep asking. And here is where it gets really fun. Using just those basic flow controls, you can literally build a functional game right off the bat. The source walks through coding Snake Water Gun, which is basically just rock, paper, scissors. Step 1, the user inputs their choice. Step 2, the computer randomly picks its own. Step 3, a simple if-else logic block decides who won. Honestly, imagine coding this, hitting screen record, and throwing a massive techno gamer's edit on it. I'm talking rapid zooms, crazy sound effects, and just epic hype music as you absolutely destroy the computer at your own game. That is the rush you get when you stop reading theory and actually build something. All right, let's tackle the big one. Section 4, Object-Oriented Programming. Object-Oriented Programming, or OOP. I know it sounds terrifying to beginners, but honestly, it's just a way to keep your code from turning into a chaotic mess. As your scripts get bigger, you can't just have random variables floating around everywhere. OOP simply lets you bundle related data and the actions for that data into one neat, organized little package called an object. That's it. The easiest way to wrap your head around it is this. Think of a class as a completely blank blueprint, and an object as the actual house built from it. If you're writing software for an office, your class might be a blank employee form, spaces for a name, a salary, stuff like that. When you actually fill that form out with the name Harry, punch in a salary, and set the company, boom, you have created an object. You can use that one single blueprint to create thousands of unique employees effortlessly. Now for the absolute best part. Section 5, Building Real Projects. This is the payoff. This is where you see the true, undeniable power of Python. With a few surprisingly short scripts, you can actually build a Jarvis-style voice assistant and an automated chatbot. The source shows how you can literally talk into your mic, say, "Jarvis, play Skyfall," and Python will pop open your browser and play the song. You can even hook it up to OpenAI. So if a friend messages you, your script reads it, generates a custom AI response, maybe in the persona of a pirate or an anime character, and auto-types it back. It is mind-blowing what you can pull off with just a little code. There's this amazing quote from the instructor in our source. "Congratulations to all those people from you and me who made their first game of life." Because putting in the time to learn these foundations, it translates into a huge emotional reward. That feeling when your script finally runs perfectly with zero errors, it is unbeatable. You go from being just a consumer of tech to an actual creator. You're writing the rules now. Let's look ahead. Section 6, your programming journey ahead. Wrapping up this explainer is really just the starting line for you. From here, the world is wide open. You can steer into data science, web dev, AI. You can build facial recognition with OpenCV or massive websites with Django. But listen, the absolute most crucial next step. Get your projects up on GitHub. That is your modern resume. Show the world that you aren't like Balu. Prove that you actually build real things. So if you put in the time and a little bit of curiosity, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from becoming a tech hero. Sure, you're going to hit errors. The frustration is just part of the process. But every time you fix a bug, you level up. So grab your keyboard, start small, build that first game, and ask yourself, knowing that Python is just like reading plain English, what incredible project are you going to build tomorrow?